Hey guys, you're about to meet a Doberman that the Doberman clubs out there have banned, the White Doberman, a dog hiding secrets that's gonna shock you. This is Albi, and yes, he's 100% pure Doberman Pinscher. White Dobermans are definitely out there and they absolutely exist. And these rare beauties, they come with quite the backstory, and you're gonna find out why Doberman professionals everywhere, a lot of them really loathe even just the sight of the White Doberman Pinscher. And you're gonna find out also if you agree with them or not. You might be surprised. Now this is Albi. Albi is a direct descendant of Padula's queen Sheba. That's the name of the first White Doberman. She was born on November 10th, 1976, and she blew the Doberman world apart. In fact, initially, people in the Doberman world, breeders and all the professionals, refused to even believe that she was a true blue Doberman. And it wasn't until her pedigree was really proven that it was accepted that yes, she was 100% pure Doberman. And nowadays, every single White Doberman, such as my buddy Albi here, is a direct descendant of that first White Doberman Pinscher. In fact, a lot of the Doberman community was just left absolutely speechless when these dogs appeared on the scene. They didn't know, what was this dog? Was it an albino? Was it some new color? Was it something else? Was there something wrong with just this one dog? Well, it turned out that this was a genetic trait that was passed along. And once DNA testing came along, they confirmed that it is a form of albinoism. It's called tyrosinase-positive albinoism, but it's kind of different than you might think of a normal albino. Now, Queen Sheba, who's Albi's direct ancestor, was believed to be the first White Doberman, but there was something mysterious written on her pedigree. In writing, it said, "First White Doberman not put to sleep." Kind of concerning. So might there have been other White Dobermans before Queen Sheba? Certainly possible, and it's a little concerning about what may have happened to them. Unfortunately, this first Doberman was later inbred to some of her own family members to really lock in this white trait. And then the puppies were just sold off to pet stores and they really lost track of the genetic lines. And obviously this concerned Doberman breeders everywhere because the link was gone and these dogs were out there. And at that point, there was no turning back. Now we'll talk about why these dogs are banned and why they're so extremely controversial in a minute. But first, what's this hidden gene inside of them that's causing this amazing white color? It's actually a partial deletion of a gene. A part of a gene is missing. The SLC45A2 gene is what it's called. It's a technical way of just saying this gene, but it's a certain gene that when it's deleted in this way, it leads to this cream or white colored coat that masks the black, the blue, the red, or the fawn color that normally would otherwise be there. So that deletion of that gene, that part of that gene that's missing, that's what's causing this form of albinoism. And the interesting thing is, if you had two just normal looking Dobermans, black and rust colored, that had that part of that gene missing and you bred them together, up to 25% of their puppies could be white colored Dobermans. It's really just nature's genetic wild card for these dogs. And have you seen their eyes? They have these incredible blue eyes, and the fact that the eyes are blue actually tells us something interesting. It tells us these are not full albinos. In fact, calling them partial albinos is definitely, in my opinion, a lot more accurate because it takes pigment to make blue eyes and it takes pigment to make the cream color on their coat. If they had no pigment at all, they'd have pink eyes and a bleach white coat. Have you ever seen those white colored rabbits with pink eyes? Those are true full albinos. This is a tyrosinase-positive albino, or what I like to just call a partial albino. In fact, the scrutiny of these dogs goes even further, guys. The Doberman Pinscher Club of America is actually strongly opposed to the breeding of these White Dobermans. Why? They're citing reasons such as their photosensitivity, their sensitivity to sunlight, and the number of tumors that they get. They tend to have increased tumors as well on their skin. And this is really a position they formalized back in 1981, and this is part of where the controversy really gets thick here. But Albi here, short for albino, was actually rescued by his owners. At just 12 weeks of age, he was found in a cardboard box with his litter mates, and he needed a home, and they gave him a wonderful second shot at life on their beautiful 3 acres of land. And the rescue center neutered Albi, and so there's no chance of him procreating, but he does now have a wonderful life thanks to his owners. And Albi here, I'm out training today because he has a little bit of a reactivity to children, probably most likely fueled by his poor eyesight in the bright sunlight. You can see him squinting and struggling to see quite often. It's no surprise he's reactive to small children. And even more came at these guys later because the DPCA later completely banned these dogs from competing in conformation shows. They can still compete in agility, they can still compete in other sports, but they cannot compete in any Doberman conformation shows. They are completely banned from that. Now, the last thing you want is for your name to be on some sort of list if you have a genetic anomaly, right? Well, there is a list for Albi here. It's called the Z list. And it's maintained by the National Kennel Club, and it's a way to track all of Queen Sheba's descendants. And check your dog's pedigree, because if your dog was related to Queen Sheba, even if they're a black and rust or red and rust dog, if they have a WZ indicator at the front of their pedigree number, then that means they are on the Z list. In fact, there was a huge surge of registrations on this Z list back in the 90s where the registrations increased somewhere around 500%. So people were definitely purposely breeding these dogs and selling them for potentially a lot of money. But these dogs do definitely have a lot of limitations. If you watch Albi here, while he's running around and playing, you will absolutely see some sunlight sensitivity with him squinting and at times having a really difficult time finding his toy when you throw it in the wrong spot. And as I said before, these dogs do have some health issues. Albi here struggles to see in the sunlight, loses his toy, and sometimes is very cautious when he's walking around. And even now is a little bit reactive to children, which, as I said before, is why I'm out training him today. And in 2014, there was a study on White Dobermans that showed that they have a significantly higher rate of skin tumors as compared to normal Dobermans with full pigment. Now, this guy is a total sweetheart. In fact, right now he's crying because he's away from his mom and dad, and we're sitting out here in their yard filming this video today. But he is absolutely owner focused. He loves his family. He has another dog in the house, and his mom and his dad, and they're absolutely great owners of this beautiful rescue. Okay, so are these dogs really a health risk, or are these just really misunderstood dogs? We're gonna break this down with a little bit of pros and cons, what some of the arguments are for and against these White Dobermans. Well, the people that are for these white dogs, they argue that they're not full albinos, and they do have some pigment. I mean, if you look closely at any of the white dogs, you can see a very faded cream color to their fur, which does indicate some pigment is present. And they'll also argue that there are reputable breeders for all types of Dobermans, including White Dobermans, that do health testing and everything else. And they say, hey, it's just blue eyes and we don't persecute humans with blue eyes, right? I guess that's good news for me. Now, people cite a lot of drawbacks to the White Doberman also, and it's really honestly quite understandable. These dogs require sunscreen quite often, specifically because of the increased tumor rate as well, and they can get sunburns pretty easily. Also, goggles is something that is quite frankly needed quite often for these dogs to be relaxed in the sunlight. And our buddy Albi has actually taken off, so we're gonna see if we can't go find him real quick and talk some more about this amazing Doberman. I found Albi, he's inside taking a rest. We're gonna get in there with him in a second, but real quick, you know, all this training with Albi today and his owners trying to help him out, it's really got me thinking too about all the health risks that this breed struggles with in general. And this really affects all Dobermans, no matter what their color, to be quite frank with you. If you're a Doberman lover like I am, you know this, and it's really on us to make their life as healthy and as long as possible. And that's why I always believe it's incredibly important to feed fresh food whenever you can for these dogs, real nutrients from real foods, just like you and I would eat. And that's really where I think Ollie shines. Ollie makes amazing fresh meals for our dogs. They're human grade foods tailored with veterinarian nutritionists, and they support the dog's skin, their coat, and just their overall health. And with a perfect dog like the Doberman, I just really think it's so important. In fact, there was a 2003 study that came out that found that dogs who ate fresh foods lived on average 2.5 years longer than dogs that had commercial canned foods for their meals every day. So just really imagine taking your Doberman's nutrition to that next step, the next higher level, and how much better you'll feel every time you set that bowl down in front of them. So check out Ollie. They have customizable plans with no prep work on your part. There's no guesswork. They help you formulate it with just a few simple questions on sign up. So if you want to give your Doberman what I consider just that amazing boost to well-being, check out Ollie. The link will be down in the description and down below. And also use our coupon code. We got it for you to use. It's Doberman Planet. It's all caps, all one word. Use it at checkout and it'll actually get you 60% off, 60% off your very first box with them. And I think you're gonna be impressed, honestly. All right, let's go find our buddy Albi. Let's go see what he's up to. Albi is taking his afternoon nap, and luckily for him, he's got this amazing rescue family, and they have an amazing routine together. They go on hikes, they go on daytime walks, A lot of them work from home, which is great. So he has people around him all the time. He has his family around him and lots of love. And really, this is the best possible scenario for a rescue Doberman like Albi. And luckily, Albi also gets to live with a 10-year-old boxer sister, so he has plenty of things to keep him mentally stimulated. And if you are living with a White Doberman, definitely work on building their confidence, especially in bright sunlight scenarios, and goggles are a great thing to use just to help keep the light down and keep them a little bit more aware of their surroundings. If you have one bad experience where they run into something or bump their head or get hurt, then it can really affect you in a long term with a dog like this. And that's really what you want. You want confidence, you want them to be sure of themselves, and that's something that a lot of White Dobermans do struggle with. This is especially important during socialization, where you want them to be exposed to new situations, sights, and sounds in a very calm manner and never push them into something that makes them uncomfortable. Also, sunscreen. Sunscreen's really important. They can get sunburns, and as we mentioned before, tumors are much more common in the White Doberman. So these are some extra considerations that owners of White Dobermans have to take into account. But overall, it's another Doberman. They have the same personality, the same loving, the same care, just as loyal and as protective as any other Doberman, and it's why we love this breed so much. And occasionally when you're throwing a ball, you're gonna have to help them find it if they lose it. They can lose things very easily, especially in the daylight. These White Dobermans have a really fascinating history. I mean, from being banned to the Z list to just people thinking that they should just be allowed to go extinct. What do you guys think? Do you think, now that you know all this, that the White Doberman should be allowed to just go extinct and never see them again? Or do you think that we should focus on responsibleness and just maybe, how about rescuing them instead of breeding them? Leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear them. Regardless of what you think about the White Doberman, I personally am very thankful that Albi here has such an awesome home and has been given a second chance at life after being abandoned. And guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next week's episode. Please don't forget to subscribe down below so that you don't miss a single thing. See you then.